This week's guest needs no introduction. He's a successful solo artist, entrepreneur, and frontman for Motley Crue, the legendary Vince Neil. Join me as I talk to Vince about the early days of Motley Crue, his entrepreneurial endeavors, and getting ready for what could be the largest grossing tour in music history on this week's episode of Hunger, Hunt, Feast. Thank you for joining me today for another episode of Hunger, Hunt, Feast. With me, very special guest, solo artist, philanthropist, entrepreneur, and of course, frontman for the legendary band Motley Crue, Vince Neil. Vince, thank you for joining me. How you doing?
All good, bro.
I appreciate you coming on, taking your time to come on here. We've been working together since November to get you ready for this huge tour coming up. And so I appreciate you coming on, which of course took a break for Corona.
Yeah.
But we're back at it. Get you ready for this, which could be maybe the biggest tour in music history is what it's looking like.
Yeah.
It's huge. But I gotta just brag on you for a second. When we started working together, I don't think I've had another client get right into intermittent fasting and eating a low carb diet faster than you. You were just like hit the ground running with it. You made it a regular consistent part of your week, each week, the middle of the week. And is that something you've done before? Or was that your first time with like fasting and low carb? Or is that something you've used in the past?
No, I've done it before in the past, before other tours.
Okay.
But not now as far away as this tour is. This tour is now for another year now. So
Right.
I got a really early start.
Gotcha. So before it was kind of like hurry up and hit it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, you had a little bit of a pushback on here because of Corona. It just got pushed back another year, which is funny. It's hitting exactly 2021, 40 years after you guys formed, because you guys formed in like 81, right?
Yeah. We formed in January of 1981. So January of 2021 will be our 40th anniversary.
That's amazing.
And my 60th birthday in February.
That's right. That's quite a decade for you. I mean,
Yeah.
That's amazing. Did you think in those early days you'd still be doing this at 40 years later with those guys?
No. We were just hoping to get through that 1 year. 1 year led to 2 years, 2 led to 3. We just got lucky with the timing. It was right when MTV started.
Right.
So it was really the only way people could get to music. Obviously, it was before streaming and all these other formats of able to get music. MTV was it. So
that's true.
If you wanted music and to see what people look like, you had to tune into MTV. So MTV started in 1981, right when we started.
Oh, so they were looking for content, and they saw you guys, and you guys. Let's face it, your first album was not exactly, except for maybe a few markets, it wasn't exactly a radio album. It wasn't like Feel Good. It was pretty raw,
It was
heavy.
pretty raw.
Very cool, actually. One of the favorite albums,
like,
I think.
The song Live Wire
right.
was not a big, huge hit, but it was a hit for that album.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a hit. It's one of the ones I remember from hearing in my buddy's bedroom. It's like 40, almost 40 years ago. I mean, it's just amazing that, you guys have been through a lot of ups and downs, obviously, as would anyone, let's say a business or any kind of endeavor that goes for 40 years, you go through a lot, but you guys were really, you guys were always pushing limits. You guys were like spearheading that whole, if you want to call it like glam move, or what, I didn't really have the name then, but you guys were, with the look and the really raw metal, guitar and everything. And because, punk rock had been coming through, but it just didn't have the same commercial appeal. And then you guys came out. What was it that motivated you guys to do what you did? Was it just the love of the performing and just changing your look and being creative, or were you like trying to be the best, trying to hit the top of the charts? What kind of drove?
No, we just started because we were just 4 guys playing the clubs in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And we just really wanted to be the biggest band in Hollywood. That was our only goal. We didn't really think about other cities or touring or anything like that. We just wanted to play like the whiskey on a Friday, Saturday night, something like
Right.
that. That was like our goals.
Hit the Sunset Strip and kill it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys self-produced your own album. That was back before that. I mean, now that's what everybody's doing. Obviously, everyone's self-producing, streaming. They do a song at a time. You guys self-produced an album that was picked up by a big label later. I mean, so obviously you guys were pretty motivated to get your stuff out.
It took a while for us to get picked up by a label. We actually produced the record "Too Fast for Love."
Right.
But we also signed a small distribution deal with a company that just distributed records in Arizona and California. That was it. Wow. And so, like say Livewire, for instance, never really made it outside of let's say Phoenix area. That's as far east as we had gone. But the thing is, though, we ended up selling like 20,000 albums, which for just a little band, to the record labels, that was a lot of albums. So,
absolutely. To self-produce something and it goes 20,000 without national distribution, without a big label putting you out on radio, just by playing a few clubs. I mean, that's
so they saw there was some potential there. So that was really it.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, despite the 1 year delay in COVID, I mean, everybody's been pent up. Everybody, people are going to be anxious to get out and see people again. I think it's going to be, because it's a stadium tour. You're co-headlining with Def Leppard, right?
Right.
You've got Joan, Jett, Poison, but you guys have already sold close to 2 million tickets with only 4 months of dates available. So that's insane. I mean, that's why I said it could be the largest grossing tour ever. You guys are almost a year out. You've only got 4 months available of a 1.5 year long tour, about give or take, 1.5 years going around the world.
Yeah.
And you've already sold 2 million tickets. That's
right. That's for just the first 3 months. That's
first 3 months, like June through September-ish. Yeah. In the States. Exactly. In the States, all stadiums, kicking off right here in Nashville, which is exciting because I'm gonna be at the first show. But that's incredible. I mean, for any business to have been around for 40, let's say a business or endeavor to be around for 40 years, and then you guys, you haven't done anything together. You've been touring obviously on your own, doing your own solo band, and you have your own other businesses that you do. But for you guys to come out swinging like that right out of the gate, 40 years after you started, you haven't toured together in 5, and you guys are selling out stadiums a year in advance. You got you could and potentially be the largest tour. That says a lot about the influence you had on your fans. Says a lot about your fans. How does that make you feel? I mean, to think about, did you expect that? Did you expect to have that kind of response from your fans?
No, it's nice though. It's a nice feeling. So many people want us to get back together. Because we basically broke up. 5 years ago.
Oh yeah.
We basically called it quits, and said that was a good run. That was a lot of fun. Okay, we're done. So I continued to tour with my solo band. Up until up until COVID, and now I've had basically almost a year off because of not being able to tour, with my solo band, or because every venue got shut down,
Gotcha.
everything.
Right.
So, but it looks like it's loosening back up. I have a couple solo shows coming up in the next couple months, and hasn't been fun just to get back and sing, a little bit. I've never gone this long without performing or singing, in my entire life. Once, since I was 16. So
wow,
it'd be fun to just get back out there.
Oh, I'm sure. But the response from your fans, I mean, I think most of your fans now, let's say the fans from that have known you for 40 or even 30 years, they're somewhere between 40 and 60 years old. So they're midlife. They've probably got families, mortgages, jobs. They're coming out in droves to buy tickets because you make them feel like they're 17 again. It's like seeing Motley Crue. You're going to have these guys feel like, they're bulletproof again for 17. You're going to have women feeling all carefree, they're going to be driving home from the show way too fast, you know, their wives flashing people out of the car, you know, they're going to feel 17 again. And that's, I mean, one, we all need that after this year. Everybody wants to feel 17 again, but what a feeling, what a gift you can give to people who are like, you know, especially after the year we've had, probably struggling, in some cases, a little frustrated with things, having to make changes, and they're feeling, you know, midlife, and then they can come out to a show like that and just feel re-energized and remember, you know, some nostalgia, but then just all the testosterone that comes from you know, your music. It's like, that's a gift to make people feel young again, even if it's for like a handful of hours.
A lot of people, you know, were pretty bummed out when we decided to, you know, to retire, basically.
Yeah.
And you know, but the excitement around the tour has just been, you know, pretty amazing. You know, but so I have like fans that didn't even know we had. You know, Carrie Underwood had her podcast the other day, and she was talking about her number one band that she loves is Motley Crue.
Wow.
And she's been singing Motley Crue since she was a kid, singing "Smoking in the Boys' Room" because her older sisters thought it was funny.
That is funny.
And, yeah, and so it's pretty cool, you know, that it's people like that, and you know, just and everything in between. You know, family, single people, but a lot of different generations. You know, the people that grew up with us and their kids, you know, are coming out.
Oh yeah, my kids are coming. My son's excited. He's 21. He's excited. He saw the Dirt movie when he was probably 19, 18, 19 when that came out. And I saw, I mean, I think Spotify, you know, they had a big uptick of young fans listening to your music. I think they noted it. It really brought in another generation for you guys.
Yeah.
That wasn't familiar. They didn't have the memory of you. They knew, they maybe heard it on Spotify, but didn't have like a visual memory of Motley Crue because they weren't even born yet.
Yeah. You say if you were born in 1990,
right?
You know, by the time we split up, you know, we really haven't been on, you know, maybe on the radio for a bit,
right?
But you know, say like you're born in 95,
yeah,
or even 2020. You know, that was 20 years ago.
Right.
So you know, you hear us on the radio still, you know, on the classic rock stations, but you know, nothing new. No, we're not out promoting anything, and just living our lives, getting ready for this tour.
Yeah, well, I think it's amazing that. I mean, what do you think of the movie? Do you think they captured something, some element of what the lifestyle was like back then, or what you guys went?
Well, I mean, it was based on our book, The Dirt, and they pretty much followed the book. If you read the book, it goes into all those things you saw, but more detail and things that they didn't put in. So when The Dirt came out, a whole new generation of fans all of a sudden were like, oh wow, that's Motley Crue, you know, because they're watching it with their parents, you know. It's but that's when people were really wanted to see us back, was after they you know, saw The Dirt. And like, oh, can't Motley come back together, you know, and play for us?
It was a fun movie. It really was.
Yeah.
So now you're not just, I want to say just a musician. I mean, you're obviously a huge musician, one of the most popular musicians in the country, in the world, but you're also a philanthropist, you're an entrepreneur. You've owned several, I mean, you own like, I think you've got 3 restaurants in Vegas now. You just opened a new restaurant there, right?
We have 3 restaurants, and then one partnership with the Vegas Golden Knights on a place called Players Locker Room.
Right.
And so it's me some of the nights, and we have a cool sports, like a sports pickup lounge, you know, in Vegas.
Wolfgang Puck too, right?
Yeah, Wolfgang Puck's partner too. It's his venues.
His venues, and so the puck thing is kind of funny with the puck and the hockey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, so you've done this. I mean, you've had a tequila brand, you've had a vodka brand. I mean, you're very entrepreneurial. I mean, it's not, you know, you like to play, but I mean, is it you're attracted to the food, to the restaurant, entertaining, or is it like, do you just really like risk? Do you like really like kind of taking a risk and seeing what you can do with it?
No, I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
I've had Mexican restaurants, I've had strip clubs, I've had the regular like Vegas is like kind of a bit of everything to eat, like just basically American food.
Hmm.
Um, had wine, had vineyards, had and just started a new mezcal
Did you
uh,
really?
a mezcal line called Pollo Caliente,
Okay.
and so that'll be coming out pretty soon.
Awesome.
I've had vodka. It's little bit of everything, which it makes it fun, not just being in rock, doing some other stuff too.
Right. Yeah. Get your brand, you leveraging your brand, but you have to have some taste for that, I think, to do that. Not everybody does it. Not everyone in music goes that route, but you've done it many ways. And so
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I mean, that's really cool that you've kind of, you keep yourself going in that regard and starting new things, starting new ventures.
yeah.
I think that's fantastic. I know you're more of a, that was Vegas. You were there a lot. Now you're more of a permanent resident here in Nashville. I think I've seen you. You've been in and out. I mean, you've been at award shows. You've done some charity venues, some charity shows. I think here
Yeah.
some, but I know we're about to get an IndyCar, some IndyCar races here start next year. Do you think we might see you around the track a little bit? I know that's a love of
Yeah.
yours.
So see my hat?
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, you drove for a year, I
Yeah. I
think.
used to drive Indy cars, a long time ago, back in the mid '90s. But I actually just met with the president of the Nashville race, and
Oh,
so
the
I'm going to be
Nashville 400.
helping them out with getting sponsorship and helping them out, with the social media stuff and just getting the race out there that people know here in Nashville,
Right.
that going to have a major IndyCar race on the streets of Nashville.
That's right. That's amazing. That's awesome. Well, great.
Yeah,
I'm glad to be seeing more of that because that's I'd love to see you more involved in the community. Maybe you do more like what you did in Vegas. Do that here. It's a great town for you.
yeah. Well, I mean, I lived in Vegas, 30 years,
Uh-huh.
and so then we found this house, and we had horses in Vegas, and it was so hot out there for the horses. I felt so bad for them. So we found this house out here in Tennessee, and we were going back and forth for about 3 years. So had a house in Vegas. Finally, we just said it's too much. Don't really need Vegas anymore. And now I even have my Tennessee driver's license. So I guess
You're
I'm stuck
official.
now.
You'll have to start saying y'all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I still haven't started saying y'all. I've been here 22 years. So I appreciate, I glad to have you here. Obviously, I'm excited to have you here. And I appreciate your time. I can't wait for the tour to start. I know you're out, but I'm looking forward to it kicking off here at Titan Stadium. But thank you. I appreciate
All
you
right.
coming on. I won't take much more of your time, but I appreciate you coming on and letting me just get a little bit of what you're doing here and to brag on you a little bit to my listeners. But
All right, cool.
thanks so much. I'll see you
Okay,
soon.
buddy boy. You take care.
You too. Thank you.